Sprite and Coca-Cola ambassadors.
We are not promoting any brand here, but I love Coca-Cola, I love Sprite. Okay, as for now, guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Aaron Intende, and today I have a guest for you. Please introduce yourself.
You don't want to introduce me?
Please, they need to hear from you.
No, I just want to prove that you've not forgotten my name.
His first name is Enoch.
I'll continue from there. So, Enoch. So Aaron is a good friend of mine. My name is Enock Mayanja. I'll soon be sharing details of my YouTube channel as well.
Wow, that will be great.
Yes, I appreciate this gentleman. He has gone far ahead in these things, and he's an inspiration. So yeah, I'm happy to be here on this show.
So today our topic is about him. So my first question is, what made you to start this kind of process, the DV lottery? How did you know about it, and how did you get the chance to apply?
Okay, I'm still composing my mind to see where I can start from, because it is really a much bigger topic. I know I'm going to share my story, but I know if many of you, or some of you probably know about the diversity visa lottery program. So I didn't want to simply get into something that some people may not know about. So I just want to give a small little background on it, if it's okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So the diversity visa lottery is a visa program. It was initiated by the USA, and it is indeed a USA program that is meant to issue visas, permanent resident visas, to people globally. And this is mostly to countries that have a limited entry of immigrants within the past 5 years. They always make those checks. So you realize that not every country is eligible in this process. Some countries are no longer eligible to apply for or to be involved in the program. But there is a list of those countries, and most of those details you can find on the USA website of, I think it's travel.
Yeah.
We shall soon be sharing the details of the website. You can find the descriptions and those links that will be attached in this video.
All right.
So that's about the diversity visa lottery. So if this program happens every year, and it's a lottery, like a lottery, you apply for it and sit back and simply wait. That is the thing about it. You simply wait.
Yeah.
There is no assurance as such, or there is nothing like this person has a higher chance of winning. The only thing that gives you a higher chance of winning in the program is the level to which you abide by the requirements and to which you follow the guidelines, because they're going to ask you for certain things. They're going to need you to do certain things a certain way, and if you mess up on one of the steps, you are reducing your chances.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that piece of information. So, as Enoch has said, it's a US government program. It's free to apply. So Enoch is a DV 2022 winner.
Yeah.
You got selected or you won? Whichever.
I mean, I won.
You won.
The first step is winning.
Then, okay.
I think it's at the end of the day, if you've been selected, you won.
Yeah.
So that is the most important step.
He was selected.
Yeah.
So he was selected, meaning he was given a chance to win. Or you are given a chance, you are enrolled.
Yes.
You are among the winners.
Yes.
But it doesn't mean you got the DV lottery, the green card visa immediately.
Actually, what they tell you, if I'm to make it clear, they make it clear that you being selected is not a guarantee that you're going to be issued a visa. Aaron, if you remember reading through those things, somewhere they say there are less visas. There are like more people have been issued visas, have been selected than the available visas.
Okay. So in that contest, it means there is 50,000 visas
Yeah.
to be won.
Sometimes maybe
by
the
the
maximum is
selectees.
like 55.
55,000 visas.
Maximum, yeah.
Maximum is 50,000 visas to be won. So when you're selected, you haven't won, but you have been selected, to undergo the process at the US Embassy. That is the interview, the medicals. So through that, abiding by the rules and the documentations, the right documentation, then you will win visa to America. That is green card lottery visa. So
yeah, actually, just to interject a bit, the reason it's called the green card lottery is because at the end of the process, you're going to be issued a green card. At least many of you are familiar with a green card. That's when you are issued it when you are permanently resettled in the US. On arrival in the US, that's when you get your green card. So it's like the trophy. You get a green card.
Wow.
Yes.
So when did you apply?
All right. So and just to go back a little, the lottery is something I had not applied for instantly and then won instantly.
Okay.
I started applying for the lottery in 2018.
2018.
2018.
Wow.
That's when I got to know about it. I mean, people have been playing the lottery for very many years. They've known about it for very many years. 2018, I was at campus. I was in my second year.
Yeah, you can
Yes.
look into the camera and really assure them whatever you're saying.
So 2018, I was in my second year at Chambogo University. And that's when I got to know about this lottery.
So you have been applying from 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021. You have been applying all these years.
I applied 2018. I applied 2019. So the reason I applied 2019 is because 2018 I didn't go through. You must get that clearly. 2018 I didn't go through. I applied 2019 again. This application is always in October, every October.
Okay.
So 2019 I didn't go through. Then 2020, the year of COVID that we all remember, I applied, and just to also give a follow-up line on that, when you apply, when you apply in 2018, your group is referred to as DV 2020. The name of your DV group is 2 years ahead, right? Meaning if I apply this year, my DV will be called 2025.
Okay. To add
So
on
it's always 2
that,
years ahead.
when you're applying like this year, this is 2023. You're applying for the fiscal year of DV 2025.
25.
Is 2 years ahead.
2 years.
Meaning the DV lottery, it will take you like a period of 2 years. From
That's right.
initial entry to being selected, from being selected to processing and to getting the visa and to coming to America. So he applied for DV 2022 in 2020.
2020.
So when he applied DV 22 in 2020, that is from October to November of 2020 during COVID. So from that point, I'm gonna be asking you to inform us how you felt and how was it like to win.
So the feeling, first of all, that day particularly, it's not even me who found out the results for myself.
Wow.
I didn't find out the results for myself. It's my sister who called me. and informed me about my winning of the lottery. So that day, I remember it was a very bad day for me. I don't know. I think God programmed it that way that the DV news could come and just make my day better. But that day wasn't going well at all. On that same day, I had lost a laptop.
Wow.
So in the midst of all that confusion, I'm trying to figure out what next. I get this other very good news. So it was that situation of very good and very bad news. But when that news came, it was somehow it's kind of, you're in that period where you kind of don't believe it. You're like, I've actually won. Because just to give you a sneak peek, this lottery is the ratio of winning is around 1 in, it depends of course on the region, but the average could be about 1 in 75. Because in our year, the year we won, 2020, around 700 Ugandans were selected. 700 Ugandans selected, not given visas, but I mean like selected. And out of the 700, of course, it's just factual that not everyone is going to go through. So when I got the news, it's at some point you don't actually show that physical excitement, but you are between being happy and trying to find out if this thing is really real. So you are on.
All right.
You have that tension and that joy at the same time.
So this notification, how is it written?
Yes.
How does it look like?
Okay, yeah, I remember at least most of the details.
Okay.
And first of all, when you apply, we shouldn't forget that you're given a confirmation number. That one is a very important step and something to note. When you apply in the month of October, you'll be told that your submission has been successful, and you'll be given a confirmation number which is quite long, and you're told to note it down and keep it. Without that confirmation number, you won't be able to access your results or your the results of your application in May. So when I won in May, I received that first notification letter. When you get that first notification letter, the basically it's more like informing you on next steps. You have won, now what's next? That's the point where they tell you, as much as you've been selected, you're not guaranteed a visa. You're supposed to go ahead and follow the next steps, and that's when you'll increase your chances of being issued a visa. So among the documents that you have to fill and submit is the DS-1260. You remember that very well? That very long.
Yeah.
That is, I think, the longest document I have filled or filed in my life.
For today, we are not going to details of the DS-260. We are going to make a separate.
Did I say 160?
No,
DS-260. Yeah, sorry, DS-260.
DS-260 is a document which America wants you to fill, and in this document you have to include your derivatives. By derivatives, I mean the people you live with, the people like your wife, your kids. Those are the people you have to include. Which kind of documents does a person out there need to know?
Okay.
Like will be required for the embassy.
Actually, now that you've talked of necessary documents, I feel like we skipped the documents at the start. During our time of application, there are certain documents that were still required, like the passport. You had to have a passport, but I know by now there was a passport waiver. As much as I know, right now you don't need to have a passport to apply for the
visa. To add on that,
yeah.
During when we applied, Trump was in governance, so he put some restrictions about the DV lottery. So you had to have a passport. So there was a provision for passport. Those who didn't have passport, they did not go through.
Now you have been selected. You have got your DS-260. You have filled your DS-260 along with the DS-260s of your family members, your spouse and children. And now there's some documents.
Now for you were single.
Me, I was single, and it was I just won as me. I didn't have a spouse. I didn't have kids.
Okay.
So I had to only fill a single DS260. So when you get the second, now between the time you're selected in May and the time you get the second notification letter, that period will teach you the word patience.
Wow.
You will learn a lot of patience from first 2NL and second 2NL.
Wow.
Anyone who has been through this DV process will testify that the second notification letter raises so much anxiety among people because there is no defined period or estimation of when you're going to get your 2NL. Some people, of course, will tell you that depending on your case number, and to some extent it's true, though I would say it's not entirely what determines when you get your 2NL. So you'll get a case number, of course. We'll also maybe go into the details of that another time. But basically, the case number is what you'll be given when one of the things you'll be given when you're selected.
Yeah. Okay.
And that case number is going to be very, very important. You must literally memorize it because you'll use it a lot.
All right. To add on that, today we are focusing.
Like I said about that period. After you get your first NL notification letter, you're going to wait for an undefined period. It's not defined. It could be months. It really depends. Personally, I got selected in 2021, like earlier said. I got my second notification letter the following year, just last year.
Wow.
That's when I got my second notification letter. So
which month was that?
That was, if I'm to remember, it must have been August.
Okay.
That's what I remember.
And when was your interview date?
And my interview was 2nd September.
September. That is the last month of the DV fiscal year.
Yes. So basically, I got my second notification letter. In other words, the letter that informs me about my interview 1 month to the interview.
Wow.
Some people always have time. Some people get the notification letters early. In other words, they have months to prepare for their interview. Wow. I got mine just 1 month to my interview. And within 1 month, there's still a lot you have to do to be prepared 100% for your interview. So you will need, in that notification letter, they will tell you all the other documents that you need to be prepared for your interview. And one of those documents, or they're categorized. Maybe I would start with medical because it's quite important. You are required to have medical documents. And these medical documents are very crucial. Reason being, you have no other way around it. You have no other way around it. It's either their way, the US Embassy's way, or no other way. In other words, you have to book your medical appointment with one of the facilities recommended or as directed by the embassy. So you'll be required to contact those medical institutions and you book an appointment with them. The reason for the appointments is to get definitely medical checkup and all the required vaccines as required by the USA. Speaking of vaccines, you will need all your immunization records. Gather everything you can. All your immunization records. Of course, the COVID-19 vaccine is not optional. It's not debatable. That one you must have both doses of the COVID-19 vaccine.
Okay, for that,
yes,
there will be another video for that. We shall take into more details about that. And if you have a question about the vaccines, we comment so we can answer back in the comments. So beside the vaccines, like how much did you pay on the day of medical?
So the medical fees.
And the interview, how much?
So in order to be ready for this interview, you need to prepare visa fees. These visa fees are paid on the very day of the interview. In other words, at the very site where you're going to be interviewed. It's not a fee that you pay prior or days before, but you pay it right before your interview. And it's important to know that it's non-refundable. That fee if it hasn't changed, or if it's not going to change, it was 330 US dollars. Meaning you pay it without even knowing if you're going to be accepted.
Yeah.
Because when you enter that interview room or area, or you are not guaranteed that you're going to get out with a green paper, which I believe he will be addressing in also a different video.
Yeah.
You're not guaranteed whether you'll come out with it or not. But either way, you'll have to pay all that money. Doesn't matter if you're paying for the whole family, each member that filled a DS260 has to pay a separate or individual visa fee.
All right. Yes. So the medical fee, how was it to your case? It was different since you are single and you are alone. So how much did you pay, and how much did they consider? Because with the vaccination, I think they determine from the vaccinations you already took,
Correct.
from your childhood to your adulthood.
When you get to that organization, whichever organization you'll have booked with, the one famous one is IOM. IOM. So you could book an appointment with IOM. Of course, don't take me by my word. These things are case-to-case basis. Every year, the most important thing is to follow the information on the US website.
Yeah.
And as you're directed, if this year maybe they change and say we are going to have your medical details being determined at this place, it's what you must go with. So the IOM, I presented my vaccination records, all my immunization records from childhood. I had them well documented and everything. And depending on the vaccines you have, or depending on your health condition, they will determine a medical fee for you. So everyone's medical fee will be different. You'll find someone paying a certain amount of money, this amount of dollars, let me say $500 for medical fee. Then you'll find another one paying $200 for medical fee. So you'll keep on wondering, why are they different? But it's because everyone's health condition is different. And according to the report that these physicians produce on your health, that's what will determine how much you're going to pay.
So
for
at the IMO or IOM, what was there beside the immunization and medical?
So we had immunizations. Of course, if you don't have COVID, you'd have to get it. In the first place, you wouldn't risk starting that process of going for the interview without having your COVID vaccine.
Sure.
We had X-rays. You had to have an X-ray. They examine your chest and produce a report of your health condition, whether you have any complex, health conditions. And we also had physical body checks.
Okay.
So X-rays, body conditions, you expect to have your blood samples taken. Actually, one thing I recall from this medical process is that certain infections may not be a problem as such.
Yeah.
But where the problem comes in, is the deadline of the physical year.
So tell us more about the documents you took to the interview.
At the interview, I'll
just mention them.
Yeah, I'll still go back to the highlight of your second notification letter. Okay. In the second notification letter, they will inform you of what to bring. They will give you a summary of all the documents you need and their number of copies that they want. Copies are very important. Have the originals, because when you go for the interview, they're going to return your original copies. No one wants to take away your original documents. They're yours. So you need to have copies. They'll either tell you 3 copies or this number of copies for each. So number one, we'll start with the medical, which you just talked about. The medical report will most likely be sent to the embassy directly. So the only thing you have to do, and what I did, was to confirm immediately after your medical examination, either that same day or the following day, confirm with the medical institution whether they have sent your results to the embassy. Because we had many people who had such issues. They reached the interview and their medicals weren't at the interview, and they told them to go back and double check. So just make sure you do that. Secondly, have your academic documents in check. The minimum requirement of the lottery is a high school diploma. Am I right?
No, it's a high school.
It's actually
It's a high school. Let's
yeah,
say it like
it's
that.
a high school
There is
diploma.
high
It's a
school diploma. No,
Mm.
the high school diploma that is a higher
Mm.
higher level of education. That is for Uganda, HSC. So high school is the lower level of education.
The O level.
That is the O level, ordinary level of education. That is Uganda level. So,
but I believe that's actually the diploma.
No, the diploma is the HSC.
Because I selected when I was entering, I selected diploma because and I presented my O level.
It's all right. Yeah, you can present anything. When from my example, I reached to the interview and I told them which one do you want. Okay. They don't, that's okay. I just gave them 11. You see, I didn't just give them one. They don't need to just have everything. They just need one, either O level or A level for Uganda level.
Yes, so basically the minimum is high school generally. That's the important thing to note.
That's a high school, and that is O level.
What you should note is just have your high school proof of high school education. Just have it ready. For some countries like Kenya, you have more semantics involved. Like you have to have your high school certificate certified again by, I think it was NEC, something like that. But and as far as I remember, the US embassy in Uganda is not or has not been handling diversity visa interviews. Involved.
If you're to satisfy your papers for US, just take it to Foreign Affairs, satisfy them. If you are taking your higher education, after Foreign Affairs, they will tell you to go to higher education building. That's why you satisfy those papers.
Yes, so I don't know how far I'd gone with the document.
You were on the A level certificate and O level.
You have your high school documentations. Of course, the medical was already sent, I'm assuming, by the medical institution. You have your DS260 for yourself and copies. And that is the DS260, the confirmation page, very, very important, right? Confirmation page of your DS260.
Okay, let's do that like this. They are all important documents. With the documents, let's start with the confirmation page, the first NL, then the second NL, then we go to the passports. Your passports you're going to use should be updated to East African passport.
Correct.
From your passport, you have to have your medicals sent. Then from medicals, you have to have a fee of $330 in dollars, cash down. Don't come when your money is in your mobile money. M-Pesa, please.
It could be for Kenyans. It could be dollars or Kenyan shillings.
You can use Kenyan shillings. Yeah, that's right. But don't put money on your M-Pesa. I have a few friends of mine. Did you have that experience? You had money on your M-Pesa?
I did. I had made enough research. I couldn't risk going good. Okay. I knew that I had to come with my money in cash. It was in the file.
But there is somebody who told me he came with M-Pesa at the embassy. And actually, on the date of interview, I had to tell him personally. I told him, "Don't bother. Run and withdraw your money because the embassy doesn't need your M-Pesa. Like, whom should I send to? No, it has to be cash down.
There are no agent numbers.
I think we have mentioned a few of the documents. If we have forgot that document, please, guys, ask in the comment.
And also for not just high, there are those. I think there's also employment for those who don't have high school. Though I still think you could address that employment point also, because if it's a valid route.
For me, what I can tell you guys, if you're not educated, they ask you for employment. What? If you are employed in a reputable organization for 2 years and you have experience for like that,
something like more complex.
Yeah.
The requirements are more.
That one I don't know about it, but if I have somebody who won a DV and got selected and got that visa through that route, I will be happy to hear about his story.
There are more details to each of these documents. Yes. We have simply listed them. but there are details on how the document should be and what qualifies the document.
Yeah.
Especially the photos.
So
you don't just, some people used to go to any studio and then come with any photos.
Yeah.
Without knowing what kind of photos are required by the embassy. So that would be very important.
How many copies they need? 2?
They needed, I would say, when you're going for that interview, carry around like 10 photos, because the medical people are going to ask for photos. And the interviewers will also require photos. So something else, police
certificate, police clearance. Wow,
that is a very, because they want to look at your criminal record. If you've been a good
criminal records, it has to be there.
And most importantly, this police clearance should be valid, time valid. You shouldn't bring a police clearance from 2 years back. Bring the most recent police clearance, around 6 months.
During my year, that is 2022, I think it was allowed for an older police clearance, which varies with the range of 1 to 2 years.
Yes, because now my concern is the rules of Interpol Uganda. When they give you that certificate, they will tell you it's valid for how many months? 6.
Yes.
So you shouldn't risk.
It's like this. If you have ever traveled to any other country and you spend there longer than 6 months, please carry a police certificate from that country. That is number 1. Then carry a police certificate from your country. That is number 2. So now we are going to the interview. How was the interview?
The interview is like sitting for your name. Those of Ugandans who are listening in, it's like sitting for your name. First of all, like we mentioned earlier, we did not have the Ugandan embassy processing diversity visa lotteries. For some reason, I don't know, but you're most likely not going to have your visa interview of the diversity visa in Uganda. You will have to select, during the application, you're given a chance to select from a list of embassies around East Africa. Some, you could choose Rwanda, you could choose Nairobi, Kenya. That's what I remember for now. And I remember I chose Nairobi. So I remember my 2NL came 1 month to the interview. So within 1 month, I had to mobilize all the resources I needed to move to Nairobi and be ready for my interview. So I moved to Nairobi around 1 or 2 weeks before. And the most important thing is to be as early as you can for that interview, because there are very many people who are going to be scheduled for the same day. And this, let's be honest, this is like a very rare opportunity. You don't want to miss your interview with the excuse of I got late or I woke up late. That would be the most reckless reason ever. So you want to wake up on time, depending on your interview. Of course, you'll be aware of your interview time. They would begin maybe at like 6, maybe 6:45, like that. So you'll be aware of your interview time. So you have to be there at least, if you're late, an hour before the interview. And then you'll be taken into the process of how to get in. You must have all your documents with you. Make sure you've left nothing behind. So on that day, we got into US Embassy Nairobi, and on arrival, we were invited, lined up, and given a certain area where we had to sit, and from there, you are guided into how you're going to get in. You're issued a certain document, certain paper, showing you how to arrange your documents for easy review by the consular. And you must be ready to wait also. You must be ready to wait, because these interviews take time. But the most important thing is, by the end of that process, at least you know your stand. And if you came ready, there is no reason why you'll be denied the interview.
All right.
You'll be denied the visa.
All right. So tell me the time when they called you How was it? And when you take us through, they called you, you gave your papers, you paid, then the interview. Then we go to the interview. How was it?
All right.
Just show them a picture at the embassy where how you will handle paying and giving your documents.
So when you arrive in that waiting area, you'll be given, should I call it like a coupon, which has your, it's more like, you know, the system in banks where you're given a number and then they call your number when it's ready for interview. Okay. So they'll call you when your turn comes. You'll be called, you'll get into the room, and you will, I don't remember what comes first, but I think that payment comes first.
I think that putting your presenting your document comes first, then they will ask you to go and pay a certain amount. Yeah.
Because I remember we went in and then first came back outside and then we were called again.
Yeah, it's like this. Yes. When they call your number, it will be announced on the speakers, like number this.
So you must be really attentive
to this window. So when you go to that window, you present your documents first. You present your file of document. They will ask you, give me your passport, give me your, they will ask whatever you document you don't just give. They'll ask you, where's your education certificate? You give your O level or A level, high school certificate, you give it.
We forgot one thing by the way before. Sorry for interjecting.
What's that?
Host documents.
Oh my God. Actually, you can mention it now. Yeah. You can mention it now.
Yeah, host documents. Those ones, of course, when you win, when you're selected, the US government is trying to say, yes, you're coming to the USA, but where are you going to stay? Because they don't guarantee you residence. They only guarantee you a visa. But you must assure them that I have someone who is going to take care of me, or who is going to host me for a certain period of time till I become self-reliant in the US. Because they know you don't have anything there, you don't have a business, you don't have a source of income, you don't even have work authorization yet.
US, there is, every embassy has a requirement. So our embassy Kenya, it has a requirement of host document. By host document, we mean affidavit of support.
Yes.
Your host, you have to have someone who's ready to host you.
Yeah.
Yeah. That will be a sponsor. So this person will sponsor you. By sponsoring, is not going to give you money. Guys, you might start asking for money. You're my sponsor. Or you might think when you arrive in US is going to give you money. Or give you whichever life you want to have here. So it doesn't mean it will support you that much. You might have him just to show the government that this person will support me. Just to show. So the government wants someone to come through a DV lottery, not to become a homeless. He wants you to be having someone here who will care for you, who will sponsor you, who will assure the government that this person, I will take care of him.
Correct. And it's one of the documents you must carry with you
for Kenya.
And I would still personal recommendation, I would still recommend that even if you feel you have the money, don't rely on that I will explain to the interviewer, because there could be other reasons why they want. Because remember, they asked for this person's, I think it was 1040, their tax returns, I think, and also there are other documents like driving license. So you would rather have someone ready to give you those documents instead of fully relying on your financial capacity.
Which documents are we talking about?
The documents of your host documents. There are certain documents that your host has to send you that you must present before the consular. So in all cases, I would suggest you have those documents that they require ready with you. Take them to the interview.
Yeah, but sure, I know it's hard to get a host, hard to get somebody to sponsor you here in the US. But most of you, to give you a little bit of advice, you can look around churches, look around friends, look around families who have connections here. Try to talk to them. Try to be humble, because that time you need somebody to be there for you. Some embassies in other countries like Europe, they might not even ask for host document. But for us in Kenya, they will ask for them, and it's one of the biggest requirements you have to present to the consulate. So guys, well assured of a visa if you have all those kind of
All those
documents,
documents are required.
and the money
And I remember
for the visa, for the visa.
Of course, I don't want to go into depth of this, but just a highlight because it's part of my interview experience. When I arrived in front of the consular.
Okay, that's the next step.
Okay.
That's the next step. Okay, he was trying to steal some information for you guys, but you need to watch this video from the start until the end if you really want to understand the whole process. Okay? Remember, this is Aaron Intende, and we have Enock Keys. As you have heard, his name is here. Please follow his YouTube channel.
Yeah, but
Guys, he's a nice guy. He has more information. He will also upload some videos about the DV and experience here in US. All right.